Sons of the Forest is a sequel to the critically acclaimed game, The Forest, and we're here to kind of go over some things that have changed since The Forest. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it and get things going. What's up, Kelvin? So, one of the biggest things that has changed is the building mechanics in Sons of the Forest. And the major thing is it has moved away from more template-based building and steered towards more of a free-range building style. So we're going to go over what that looks like. And the first thing that kind of dives into that is, obviously, if you've played the Forest, you need to build a shelter. Before, you would just hit B and you would pull up a handy-dandy book. You still have the book, but there's two sides of this book. There's the prefab stuff that you can build, and then there's this kind of instruction manual, Bob the Builder style, on how to build certain things. So they've kind of split it down the middle for things that are annoying to build that can be templatized, and into things that are kind of cool, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's also very fun and adds an element to the game that I actually like a lot. So to dive into the new part, we'll go ahead and close our book here and build the most simple shelter. It's going to be the first thing you build in the game once you log in. So you're going to open up your playmat. I call it the playmat because it's freaking huge this time. So you're going to gather the materials you need. So we need a tarp. As you look, it outlines on the ground where you can lay it. So we'll go ahead and place it. Well, ignore them. That's my noisy neighbors. But it just, this isn't a structure. I can't sleep on this. I can't save. I can't do anything. So what do? You got to look at these corners. And these are going to be your telltale signs of what you can do. You're going to see these arrows, and you're going to see them everywhere for the free building. So just simply line up on the corner, click it, you're going to left click it, and it's going to prop up the corner. Gosh, I really wish they would be quiet. Just ignore them. And you can see that I propped up the other side, and now I have the familiar save and sleep symbol. So this is going to be their first introduction into the new build style. And actually, you can prop up all four sides of this tent. One side, or three. Well, yeah, kind of neat. So yeah, this is the introduction into the first thing that you're going to build inside the Sons of the Forest. Don't mind that, one of the locals wandered in and had to be dealt with. And that brings us to our second topic, building basic defense. As you can look around our less than stellar base, we're surrounded by walls. Before, you could pick up your book, and then there would be some type of wall pre-built structure that you would just have to gather logs for. Not anymore! So what you need to do is you need to harvest a bunch of logs. So I got some test logs here. And we're going to show you how to build a simple defense. More neighbors. They must be mad. But you can see if I look at the ground, I get the outline that we talked about earlier. And if I left click, it switches between modes. So I can lay this down, hold C to pick it back up once you place an item. Or if I right click again, it turns into a circle. And this allows us to vertically plant this. So we'll go ahead and left click. We got a frickin' log in the ground. So that's just Kelvin. All right, so what do we do next? There's no blueprint. What you're going to do is see if you look down towards the base of the log, you get this little circle that follows the log. So this will help you align. And if you left click to place, they are now linked. Now, if you were to place it further to the right here, they're not going to be linked, and it's not going to be considered a wall. It's just going to be considered two logs. So then you would just surround your base. The other thing you need to look into, be quiet, is you can customize the logs and the shape and the size. So since these are linked together, it's considered a wall. If you look towards the top, you see that red arrow. That means if I left click, it's going to aim my axe. I click again, it's now going to notch it, so it turns it into a defensive fence. Because if you don't notch the two, actually the cannibals are going to be able to crawl over. And if they're not linked, you're not going to be able to notch it. So let me grab another log to show you. Good morning, Kelvin. So we'll just place randomly over here. You can see I get different lines. I get these horizontal lines, and this will allow me to chop it into different heights. But since it's not linked, I can't turn it into a fence. I want to turn it into a fence. I pluck it up, aim towards the bottom, link it, and there's your red triangle. Wha-bam! So that's basic defenses. Once you build your fancy little wall, you'll notice there's no gates. This game was released in an unfinished state. So one thing that is missing are some building mechanics that honestly should have been there from day one, but are not here. So there are no gates that you can build into your wall to get in and out. The only options you have are to hold C, remove a log, lip through. Sometimes you got to remove two depending on how stuffy you are. And then put the log back once you get in. And then remember to notch it. I missed, so if you're in a hurry, not the best thing. And now you're protected again. So unfortunately, that is a mechanic that is missing from the game. Kelvin, get down from there. Hey, down. Thank you. One thing that we've come up with is you can actually post things into the ground like this and then branch off of them. So we actually use these. It is kind of like little running ramps to get over. As you can see, there's a cannibal there. But this, we have one on each side. The cannibals have not figured out how to get up and down them yet. And this seems to be the best way to deal with the no gate issue. But we'll go ahead and show you how to build this. So we'll just go ahead and take this log, plop her down, take this one. So you need 2 logs for this. You're just going to post one. You're not going to lay it down like you see here. And you can rotate logs, you can see by using Q and R. But we're going to switch back to post. We're going to post it, and then we're going to look at the top. There's that directional arrow, so we can point this any direction. But once it's there, click, and now you have your little ramp. So now you have your gate. Guys, I'm shooting something right now. Could you please come back later? Kelvin, leave them alone. But these are our little ramps to get around. Now we're out in the open. That was a bad idea. Too many people. We jump back in and we're safe. That is how we deal with no gates. All right, now that you know how to deal with no gates, you know how to build a simple structure, you know how to build a wall to protect yourself. We're going to move on to building structures. This is kind of our test playground for testing how things work in this game, because things are very much still in the works. But unlike the Forest, everything is free build. There are no structures outside of a basic shelter that you can have prefab for you. So everything else is going to be, you have to build it yourself. So yeah, traps and things like that would be annoying to build by freehand are in the pre-built section. There is a hunting shelter and a small log cabin. 75 logs is a lot, but if you want to build something on the scale that we're showing in front of you, you will have to free build. And free building does take a little bit of effort and trial and error, because each section, which would be 4 logs in a square, needs to have a foundation, a log in each post corner, and then a floor, and then a roof. Then you have to split logs to get these things right here. We'll call them slats to get things. So Building is very, very expensive in this game as far as materials go. So let's show you how to build a basic 4x4 structure. Grab yourself some wood. You're going to come down here, and we're not going to post these because you need a foundation first. So we're going to lay these down. As you can see, you line up. It'll allow you to do it, to post it into the top or to lay it down. So we need to build a foundation first. So we're going to lay these on the ground to build that foundation. And there you go. This is going to be the structure for your entire house. As you can tell, everything is a square. And from here, you can build floors and ceilings and walls. So I'll grab 2 more logs. Run back to my man Kelvin over here. So from here, you can do a few things. We can build post, which would allow us to start building walls. Or we could start laying the floor. So you can see if I want to do the post, I get the vertical arrow, meaning that it's going to post these. And then also I get what is this arrow that seems to be diverging. This will build a floor. So if I go ahead and click this, it's going to split 1 log and give you 2 pieces. Each floor piece takes 3 logs. Grab another log. Come back. Finish our floor. And you are going to be left with 1 left over. So we now have a floor in our little shelter here. All right, now that we got our floor done, let's build a wall. So to build a wall, you need to have 2 posts. And you need to put them like this. And then you need to spend a lot of logs to build a wall. It is a log per height. And as you can see, if you look at the top of the log, it gives you the symbol to lay your logs down. And look at that. We got a full wall. And you can now see, well, AFK Retro, how do I build a door? Well, you gotta free cut it. So as you can see, if I want to cut a door, it's gonna have to be each individual log. And you can only do the ones at the, not the top, but the ones underneath. Feel free to cut. And it's gonna give you this. And that's also how you would cut a window. So if you just wanted to do a window, you would cut, punch it out, aim, it turns red, click, prime, click again, cut it out, and now you have a window. Let's go ahead and build a full door. Same process all the way down. Last one. And now we have a door. But Dewey, to finish the door, you need to build the actual door. Once you cut down, you see those familiar arrows for building slats. So you're going to left click again. It's going to split the log and build a slat. You need 3, so a log and a half. We have this left over. Bam. Now we have a door. All right. Now that your door is built, you're probably going to want to finish your cabin. So to finish, you need a lot of logs. You're going to have to build all 4 walls. There we go. So we put the 4 posts in. We need to extend our cabin here. So you don't want to live in a 4x4. There, look at that. She's looking pretty. Grab 1 more log. Need to start connecting everything. And it's starting to look more like a home. All right, so let's go ahead and connect everything. You'll see you have to do this grid. And it's kind of annoying to build a large structure that you have to finish this grid. And it has to be this way or it won't work, unfortunately. Now that everything is connected, You're like, well, I don't want all these poles in the middle of my room. You come with me into our pre-built home here. Maybe. You can see there's no poles. That's because this is the annoying thing. Once you build it, you have to brace it with these smaller logs. And then you can remove all the poles that are in the middle of the cabin. So, show you. Grab yourself some of these scraps from when you cut out your door or a window. And you're going to come to this corner where things join. So this would be a 90-degree join. And you'll see this curved arrow. You're going to go ahead and click that. And now you've braced your structure. And it is considered structurally sound, I guess, as far as this game is concerned. And you can now remove posts. Let me do the other side here. So you can see I've braced all the corners. I can now come here, hold C, and remove this. And I now have a nice open space. So, unfortunately, you kind of have to do that or it will not build. Hopefully that makes sense. But now that we have everything kind of squared off, you can see that I also have the ability to... you're gonna let me? Oh, I messed up. You actually have to have the cross brace in there or it will not build. So, take some of this wood. Now that you had it fully squared in, you can start to place your roof. And it does get a little finicky about where you place it. Your mouse. So you can see it kind of pops. You just kind of got to play with it. So, now that you've had the top always has to be squared, so now we can move the support brace and have a fully supported roof without that annoying beam in the middle. Then you can just repeat this, and all you need. All right, now that you know the basics of building in our little test kitchen here, one thing that we found to help with movement mechanics is the doors. They do not stop them from coming in. It does not stop them from coming in. So what we have done is we use the bottom as a trap. We basically just leave it wide open. So you could either build it on stilts and run into it, if you would like, or we just leave it open and then our true base is up top. And we'll show you that. You notice we have these sticks, logs for ramping up. If you walk up to any structure, same as if, you know, our little ramps here to get out, you can post these on any structure. And we actually use these to get up and down to our top base, because the cannibals, not zombies, can run up these, but they can't do this little jump over here. So you can kind of use this to defend your base and just kind of poke them, shove them down, and they can't get up here. So we use these little side ramps on the building is basically our stairs into the actual base. And then the bottom is kind of a trap. So once they get trapped, you can kind of cheese them through the wall, because this game is currently broken a little bit, or just leave them down there. But they can't do this little jump. So don't line it up directly with the hole. It has to be offset, but you can jump up. You don't need to build a full ramp. We have just logs to get up top. So if you're good with running, they will not run up this, and you can have just logs be your way up and down. But yeah, so this is kind of how we build ours to cheese the cannibals. Did you get in? Yeah, Kelvin, I see him. It's okay, buddy. I got you. All right, he cheesed in. Well, there you go. That's it. That is the difference in building. Your book is now 2 separate sections. There is the free build mode, which goes over how to build things. And then there is the prefab section, which would look more familiar to the original forest, but not everything is there. There's some treehouse blueprints and small shelters along with some traps, but everything else is free build. So if you want to build a basic shelter to save, you have to place it on the ground, use the sticks. The defense barrier does not have a gate, so you have to use these little running poles to get out and in. You can do a full ramp, but this only takes 2 logs instead of like 15. And then this is the basics of building a small base. You cannot, the door does not lock. Everything is cut to size, 1 log at a time. Everything has to be squared with 4 posts and then 4 posts or 4 beams across the top. Then you can roof and floor everything. And then to remove support beams, just make sure that the long runs are supported at the end. And then to cheese and protect your base, cover it in ramps, jump up to a door, and you should be good to go. This game is not done, but it is fun. We've put quite a few hours in. You can see the walls do work. Kevin, are you feeling okay? All right, you're bleeding, buddy, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, so that's what we found out in building so far. Is it is trial and error, and not everything works. But thank you for stopping by Not Safe for Some. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want content like this. We're here to help.